Norwegian broadcaster slams treatment of its journalists reporting on World Cup, but Qatar says they were trespassing illegally. According to both journalists' accounts, they were questioned for 8 hours in separate rooms, one at a time. They were not ill-treated, but they were put in a cell with 10 to 12 others and were made to sign a document in Arabic they could not understand. They were released without charge early Tuesday morning and flew back to Norway early Wednesday morning, according to a statement from the Government Communications Office of the State of Qatar. Ekeland and Gurbani were taken into custody for trespassing on private property and filming without a permit. The authorities arrested the crew in their hotel after responding to a complaint made by the owner of the private property on which the crew had illegally accessed, the statement said. The crew were released without charge early on November 23 after completing the necessary legal procedures. As in almost every country, trespassing is against Qatari law, which the crew members were fully aware of before entering the property. The crew were given access to film wherever they wanted in Qatar. They were provided with all the filming permits they had requested prior to their arrival and were offered meetings with senior government and third-party officials. These freedoms, however, do not override the application of common law, which the crew knowingly and willfully violated. As a result of these violations, the crew were temporarily detained.
Qatar's track record on media freedom speaks for itself. Qatar welcomes hundreds of international journalists and NGOs every year to report freely in the country. No journalist has ever been detained when Qatar's laws have been respected. NRK's Director General Thorbjørn Eriksen said he disagreed with the Qatari description of events. Even if the Qatari authorities believe the journalists broke any rules, the treatment they were given is not acceptable. The detention of the journalists and the confiscation of all their equipment are in any case completely out of proportion. It threatens free and independent journalism and creates a serious chilling effect for all journalists visiting Qatar. Eriksen went on to call the situation very serious, in particular when 2 of our employees have been arrested and interrogated in connection with their journalistic work. We note the statement by the Government Communications Office in Qatar that states the crew knowingly and willfully violated the law by trespassing on private property before they were released without charge. FIFA will remain in further contact with NRK and the SC, who collaborated with and assisted the crew during their time in Doha. It comes after last week's International Labour Organization report, which said that at least 50 of Qatar's workers died in 2020, stating that the country was inadequately investigating these workplace deaths. Non-governmental organizations have alleged that migrant workers involved in World Cup infrastructure projects have been mistreated and abused. Qatar's Ministry of Labour said in a statement that figures reported in media on migrant worker fatalities have been wildly misleading. The government has been transparent about the health of our foreign population, and in reality, levels of mortality in Qatar are on par with wider demographics globally. Still, improving the health and well-being of foreign workers remains a top priority, the ministry added. Steps have been made, steps will be made. I think we need also to recognise the positives if we want to encourage those who have embraced a way like Qatar's to continue in that way. Recognise what has been done, look at the concrete facts and figures, make the necessary criticisms as well, but always try to be constructive and to see what has been done and what can be done more in a positive sense. Set to be the first ever World Cup staged in the winter, the 2022 edition is set to kick off in Qatar on November 21st and conclude on December 18th.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.